Look, if you've got a screen enclosure here in Florida, you already know that damage is just part of the deal. But here's the thing, not all of that damage can be fixed with a quick patch-up. So let's get right into it. The 3 big signs that tell you it's time to stop thinking about repairs and start talking about a full replacement. Okay, so this is the question every single homeowner with an enclosure eventually asks. Are you looking at a simple fix, something that'll keep this beautiful brand new looking structure on the left looking great? Or are you dealing with something more like what's on the right, a serious hazard where really a full replacement is the only safe way to go? You know, some of these problems, they go way beyond just a little tear in the screen. We're talking about issues that can actually compromise the safety of your home, your family. And here's a huge trap people fall into. They think, hey, I just rescreened the whole thing, so it must be safe. But that's not how it works. It's the frame, it's the foundation. That's what keeps you safe, not the mesh. So today, we're gonna break down the 3 critical signs that mean a full replacement is really your only smart move. All right, sign number 1, this one's the most obvious and honestly, the most frightening: catastrophic damage. When a hurricane hits, we're not talking about a few loose screws. The entire structural integrity of your enclosure is shot. Beams get bent, joints are literally snapped apart. Engineers actually call this level of damage an act of God. And what that means for you is that a simple repair isn't just a bad idea, it's actually against the law. You have to do a full rebuild to meet the current flow-to-building code. Why? Because a patched-up job is absolutely going to fail the next inspection, and worse, it's going to fail during the next big storm. And this right here, this shows you exactly what I'm talking about. See these red circles? They're pointing out all the different places the structure has failed. If you walk outside and see bent frames, braces that are just gone, or huge chunks of screen ripped out, it's not a single problem. The whole system has failed. This is not a repair job anymore. It's a complete rebuild, starting from scratch. Okay, let's move on to sign number 2. Now, this one is way more subtle, but believe me, it is just as critical. We're talking about the age of your enclosure. So what's the number you need to keep in your head? 15 plus years. After that long in the Florida sun and storms, even an enclosure that looks pretty good is starting to deal with some serious structural fatigue. I mean, just think about it for a second. Year after year of that relentless sun, wind, and rain, it just takes a toll. The UV light is constantly eating away at the mesh and the sealants. And every single time the wind blows, it's like it's pushing and pulling on those joints and fasteners, weakening them over time. And that's the real kicker here. The structural integrity could be totally compromised, even if it looks perfectly fine from your kitchen window. This comparison is just perfect. I mean, look at this. Up top, you've got that crisp, new enclosure, all straight lines and tight screen. Then look below it. That's a 20-year-old structure. You can literally see the beams starting to sag. You can see the wear and tear. This is exactly what decades of weather will do. It's basically a slow-motion collapse just waiting for the right storm. And that brings us to our 3rd sign, critical system failure. Now, this is about the hidden dangers, the things that cause the whole system to fail from the inside out. We're talking about the little things, the screws and the foundation that can be compromised even when the big aluminum frame looks totally fine. Okay, first up is a sneaky problem called galvanic corrosion. It sounds super technical, I know, but it's a massive issue in older enclosures. All it means is that back in the day, some builders used regular steel screws in the aluminum frame. And when you put those 2 different metals together, they basically declare war on each other. The steel rusts like crazy, and it destroys the connection from the inside out. And this picture says it all. Just look at the screw on the left. That rust isn't just ugly, it's expanding, it's pushing the aluminum apart, and it's totally weakening that critical joint. And if you live anywhere near the coast with all that salt in the air, it's 10 times worse. That's exactly why modern building codes demand stainless steel fasteners, like that pristine one on the right. They just don't corrode like that. So the screws are a huge part of the problem. But let's ask an even more basic question. What is your entire enclosure actually standing on? Because that brings us to the other major point of failure, the foundation. So here's the deal, and there's no gray area here. The Florida Building Code is crystal clear. Your enclosure has to be anchored into a proper, reinforced concrete slab or footer, period. But you'd be shocked how many older enclosures were just stuck on top of pavers or even just on the dirt. Those foundations aren't just unsafe, they're straight up illegal, and they will fail an inspection 100% of the time. And you can't really repair this problem. A full replacement is the only way to fix it. This diagram lays it out perfectly. The situation on the left, an anchor just sitting on some pavers, that gets a giant red X. That is an automatic fails inspection. What you want, what you need, is the setup on the right, a real structural anchor bolted deep into solid concrete. That is the only way to do it safely and legally. All right, I know that was a lot to take in, so let's do a super quick recap of those 3 big, can't ignore signs that it's time for a replacement. First up, catastrophic storm damage. If a hurricane bent that frame, it's game over. It has to be rebuilt from the ground up. Number 2, it's just plain old. Once you pass that 15-year mark, hidden weaknesses and metal fatigue turn into a real safety risk. And number 3, critical system failure. That means you've either got severe rust eating away at your connections, or the whole thing is sitting on an unsafe and illegal foundation. So, if you're looking at your enclosure and nodding along to any of these points, what do you do? Well, let's talk about the path to safety and why a modern, professional replacement is really the only answer. See, a proper modern replacement just fixes all of these problems at once. You get a stronger frame with better beams, you get a properly anchored base that's bolted into real concrete, you get those stainless steel fasteners that won't rust away, and you get hurricane-rated mesh. It's not just about looks, it's about making sure your structure is safe, up to code, and actually protects the value of your home. Now, I know planning a full replacement can feel like a huge project, but it's really an investment in your safety and peace of mind for years to come. Look, the team at Screen Factory Florida has been doing this for over 15 years. They've helped thousands of homeowners just like you get safe, code-compliant enclosures. If you want to get an expert opinion and just make sure your project is done right from the start, you can schedule a free estimate. We've put all the details for you down in the description. So, I'll just leave you with this one last thought. The next time you're out by the pool, take a good, hard look at your enclosure. Now that you know what to look for, you can ask the real question. Is your backyard oasis truly as safe as it is beautiful?